Check, check. Ta-ta-ta-ta. Ah, much better. Oh, I'm like, got the portrait mode on. Studio, oh, that's actually not bad. Oh wait, I can have portrait mode off, but studio light on. Nice. Yeah, I like that more. Oh, I should probably have the chat open if I want to see what's going on. Okay, we streaming. Everything's working. Haven't done this in a while, so I just want to make sure everything works properly. Ba-da-ba, hello. Oh, that thumbnail's really dark. I thought I made that brighter. I tried. Okay, let's get the live chat going on the phone as usual. Hello, everybody. Let's switch over to Ableton with Cam in the corner. Hello, everybody. I'm just going to wait a little bit for people to join in. Also, where did the blue hair go? Yeah, no, I kind of felt like returning to the roots because my roots, haha, were growing out so much. Day's going good. And growing out the beard until I get pulled out for a randomly selected screening at immigration. Let's see how long it's got to be. This will be for everyone, the pack, but it will be like it's not going to be free because it's a lot of presets, and I worked on this quite a lot. Oh yeah, also, this is the moment where you have to tell me how the volumes are. So me talking versus like the presets I'm working on are probably just going to be around this volume. So how does that sound? Blue hair might have been your protection, lol. Presets for Vital, please. I did a Vital preset pack. It's on my Patreon. That was a while ago, though. I agree. Maybe after this one, it's time for another one. So far, pretty leveled. Okay, sounds okay. Nice. Yeah, no, I had just been working on this one. I'm pretty good, pretty much done. The thing, I might add one or two more. Maybe we'll make a few during the stream. These are the presets that are in the pack. I know this list goes below what you can see, but I'm currently just going through and checking the ones that don't have macro assignments and just kind of fixing them up a little bit and adding macros. Hi, Busty. I'm doing good. I know I haven't streamed in a while. I've been working on a nice Serum presets pack, and I'm just finishing it up and assigning the macros. This one didn't have any macros when I opened it, so I've assigned 2 for the pitch. I've been doing this thing too, where so there's these 2 layers. For example, that one, and then this is the pitch for that layer. But I've mapped it so that it only selects specific notes, like 7th, 5th, major 3rd, minor 3rd, 2nd, octave, 7th, 5th. Just so that, like, wherever you put this, it kind of makes sense. And then the same thing for the second one, so you kind of mix and match them. And then we got spectral shift with the detune. But I also have an actual stereo frequency shifter set up. So that works in a way where both these layers and the noise, just these layers, both these layers go through filter 1. And filter 1 goes nowhere except bus 1. And bus 1 has this setup on it with 2 bodes that do frequency shifting. It has to be split into mid and side so that it's stereo. And I just realized that if I start shifting down, then there might be unnecessary low end. So I might add a little filter after this, actually. A little high pass. Just to, let's see. Can I have a look at the... There we go. And then if I shift down, yeah, there's like this stuff that I don't want. So let's add that in. Nice. Just making the preset as clean as possible. What do you think of seals? Seals are pretty good. Oh, hi, Fuelju. So this is going to be for everybody. This is going to be in the Patreon shop once I'm done with it, but we're getting pretty close. So we've got pitch for these two. We got the frequency shifter. What else could this patch need? Oh, maybe the playback speed of these two samples. So maybe I'll just leave them at 0 here, and then we just do this, where we put this macro at 50% here and at 50% over here. So macro 5 is going to control. Yeah, that's a nice control to have. Speed. That's pretty good. Anything in terms of maybe the distortion strength or something? Why not? But when I do this, for example, boat blurring. Oh, that's a good idea. The only thing is, I've made it because if you do this thing where you run something through bodes like this to have a stereo frequency shifter in the Serum effects chain, if it is on 0 in the center here, so it's not shifting it down or up, it still messes with the phase. And because of the mid-side split, it gets really weird in terms of stereo. So I've added this bonus thing. I don't know how visible this is. Wait, if I move, it's this bottom one. Yeah. So if you're in the center where nothing should happen, the mix of this bode and this utility, which does a phase flip, goes to 0 so that the sound is clean and unaffected. And in that moment, the blur would be gone, of course. But I want to have a drive control. And when I make presets, what's important for me with the drive control is that it doesn't get insanely loud suddenly when you turn up the drive. It doesn't get insanely loud, but there's definitely like a bit of a jump. In this case, I might even not find it necessary, but what I do, also there's this little automation here, or modulation, you see, where, what is it? LFO2 is doing this. So I don't want to just have the distortion macro move the distortion knob up. Maybe I want it first to, where's this? LFO2 goes to filter FX1 distortion drive. Maybe at first, in the first half of this macro, it's only turning on that LFO doing its thing. And then in the second half, down here, macro goes directly to distortion drive. It's actually turning up the distortion knob. So now it has these two stages where on 0, the drive is actually staying at 0. And then when I increase it, it should have gone up a little higher. What did I do wrong? LFO2 distortion drive. Is there something else going to the distortion drive? No. Are you just that weak? Oh. Oh, I did it in the wrong spot. I shouldn't have done it here. This needs to stay the same. Reset. It should have been over here. That's how the macro controls that amount. Okay, now. Yep, up to 50%. It's doing the thing, and then it's just moving the drive knob up. So this is now drive. And then if we want to be super premium and make this really nice for the users, we could also attach this to the output volume of that distortion and have it adjusted to go down so that maybe the level, like the perceived loudness of this and this kind of feels the same. Like this is actually pretty good. Maybe it was a little too much, maybe -6 decibels or something. Kind of like that. But now, when you turn the drive up, it might first get too quiet before it reaches maximum drive. No, that seems very consistent. If it doesn't feel consistent, you gotta go here, macro 6 goes to the distortion level and adjust this curve. But that feels pretty good. I'm gonna leave this at 50, maybe a little more. And then this one could be for the noise. How much is the noise actually doing? A little bit. Yeah, is that worth it? Oh no, instead, it might not be. Instead, actually the layer volume. That should have been I wish there was a way to quickly swap macros around. So that like, because now I'm thinking like, the volume of this, you might want to be able to adjust that. But that seems like a more important macro than the distortion one, or I don't know. Like I feel like it should be macro 3, because pitch of these two and then the loudness of this one are like more like integral to the patch. Layer 1 vol, but it's fine. Hi M&S Music. Also love from India von Anas. Thank you. What's tear-out generator? Where are you seeing that? Oh, here. That's where the sample is from. I made a preset that just gives you different tear-out stabs every time you hit it. Oh, maybe I should make one of those. Maybe I should make one of those for the pack. Okay, now we've assigned all of these, and I can overwrite the preset. And hit save, we good. Then we can check what else we got in here that might need some attention. We got some classic bro step presets in here too. Oh, this nice Robin bass doesn't have any macros at all, but that might be a little boring right now. I like that one. For a lot of these also, and I've put that into the description if necessary, a lot of these, the velocity controls the LFO speed. So you don't have to mess with any automations for changing the speed of things. You can actually just play at a higher velocity, and you check over here. So if I'm just playing with different velocities, you get different LFO speeds. So if you're using these presets that do that and you're making a bass line, then it's actually kind of neat because you can just, let's see, well. And if you have this audition knob on, you can even hear how the change in velocity affects the LFO speed. So that kind of makes it. Yeah, maybe like that. And then this one would be like a really slow one. But this kind of makes it easier to quickly make a nice pattern without having to go into automations. So, big fan of that as a feature. Hi VR, how are you doing right now? I'm just a little bit still a little bit sick. Like, I wasn't aggressively sick. I just had a cold after I got back from the shows this weekend at Echo Stage and in Toronto, which were sick, by the way, really fun. I started the tour with Blank, and we had our first 2 shows this weekend or last weekend. Oh yeah, Yoink Studio. Sometimes I just make a preset and don't do a lot of the macros and just save it because I'm like, later. This one is supposed to give you a ton of control with macros to make all kinds of different yoinks. It does have the frequency shifter already built in. Did I do that over here? Yep. But this needs some more control. So far we only have that. And movement. The overall length is very important, so that should be this. So maybe I'll just leave it. We'll just call that one shape. Also, overall, like that reverb's very loud. That should definitely be a thing. If, like post effects, quote unquote, like reverb or delay or something, I always put on the last 2 macros. So there you can so you always know, like after a while, your brain just learns, okay, but that's where I can find them. So I'm just gonna call this one room. It's a bit long. Nice. So far, so good. Don't forget your flu shot, dude. I think I got a flu shot. Yeah. What did we do with the velocity to make it easier? Oh yeah, I just assigned, on that earlier patch, I assigned the velocity to the LFO speed. And then you can just draw notes with different velocities, and the velocity will command the wob speed or the speed of whatever modulation you got going on. You can even apply that to other things, maybe vibrato or something else. All right, we've got frequency shift, we've got movement, we got shape and room. So now the ratio of that oscillator we definitely would want as a macro, and this should be modulated in coarse. And then let's put this here, and maybe that goes up to plus 12. I feel like the frequency shifter should also be able to go down. I'm just going to redo this real quick. Bam. And then I made a preset for myself. You can save effect racks as preset, so I've made myself a stereo frequency shifter setup. And then to set this up, macro 1 needs to go on all of the mixes. So that it's... And then those should be here. Those all need this little preset I made myself called temp bode, where it just turns them off if the knob is in the middle. All of these are going to get that. Temp bode, temp bode, there you are. And then lastly, we actually want this to do the frequency shifting in bipolar like this on both of these. And now if this is in the center at 50, it should sound exactly the same as it does without this. Yes. And then we can frequency shift that up or down. And again, I want to prevent that shifting it down is going to create sub. That's unnecessary because we will have a separate sub. So I'm just going to add a little high pass. Yeah. That works. Very nice. Can you make granular synths like Nest Acoustic? I might not even have, there's like one granular preset in here, which is pretty fun because I've made a lot of, I want to make presets that, let me just save this real quick. Oh, this is a FM pitch. I'm just going to name that real quick so I don't forget this and save this. I wanted to make a bunch of presets where you can import a sample and then it does something with it. For example, let me see, sample mangler. So that uses the granular oscillator and a ton of random LFOs. And the point here is that obviously it comes with a sample, but so it just randomly modulates all the granular parameters and the pitch and everything. But the point is that you can then go and grab a sample that you like and put it in there and see what happens. So you can throw your own stuff in there and that might be cool. Like, let's say a little drum loop could be interesting. Why not? That's a pretty long drum loop, so it just sounds very messy. Can we shorten you? Where's your endpoint? I think maybe because I'm in position mode or something is not there. But you get the idea. Or maybe if we just put in like a short bass hit. Even just something like that. All kinds of fun stuff ensues, and the macros give you control over like the speed of all this random modulation. So if it's really low, we get longer weirdness. Let me use a different. Maybe that. We get longer weirdness. If it's up, it just creates glitchy chaos, and then the smoothing, if we turn that off, we just get the steppy motion. And then again, you are free to put whatever you want in here. Try a synth shot, let's do it. Maybe something like that. Is it even key tracking? Yeah, it is. So the note you play does, I guess, does it matter? I'm playing like high notes and low notes and it doesn't change, which is the point. You can also turn off the pitch modulation because it randomly plays with the pitch. If you'd like to stay in place, it can do that. Oh, enable pitch again. Yeah, had it off. Okay. And then these are like controls for what should be the maximum length the grains are allowed to have and the maximum density. And there are also some random filter effects, like you see this happening. What else? This phaser happening. Not really a lot of processing. So you get some fun chaos. Vocals might be funny, like if you have just like a little. What do you have here?
That's what we're here for.
Are you ready? No choice when I say that I'm gonna clean up.
Is there drive? Oh, here's drive. What you said? What? Creepy. So that was the idea here. There's more generative patches too. This one's just a neuro sound with, again, this is all for resampling. Like your only controls are the speed of the random modulations and the smoothness. So that's fun. I also include some init presets that are specifically made for certain tasks. Like there's this init all chaos LFOs that's set up just like that. You have the two macros over here for the speed and the smooth, and every LFO is set to sample and hold. So you can build your own chaos patch and generative patches. There's a bro step FM setup. That's just the classic FM from B, FM from C with basic shapes and this set to ratios. So you can quickly start making those kinds of bases if you want. We've got an FM fun setup where there's a little more going on. But with this one, you can very quickly like make something like this. There's like specific wavetables in here. And wait, there's more. We've got the laser generator. This one has no controls at all. All you can do is play a note and you will get a new laser every time. It's randomizing all these things. Chop. No controls, only crunch. Oh, I will include the lion sound from Burning Out. This is the preset where that's from. We've got, I needed this for like just purpose, for like utility. It's just a macro controlled riser. But, oh, this one's more fun. Impact Designer. So you can put anything into 1 and 2 and a kick into 3, and then it should make you an impact out of those. And you have some controls down here. The length of the rumble. Is there speed for these? Oh, I see. I used the manual, and then it's this LFO doing it. Haha. Top length. Oh, I see. Yeah, now it goes through it faster. So yeah. That's cool for impacts. Just as an example, what could we do? Like you can even just use claps or other weird things, percussions. Like if we used a resonant percussion. Why not? Let's put that into 1. Let's put that into 2. And a kick drum into 3. Why not? Yeah, that should work. And you get an impact. Maybe we can top length, make that longer, give it more drive. There's a little bit of this pitch modulation that I have on here that I didn't have enough macros. Top reverb, noise layer. Pump is like how long it takes for these to come back up afterwards. Yeah, maybe one of the two sample layers should be something a little brighter, like a clap or something, for a proper impact, like something like that. That works a little bit better. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Impact generator. And then we also have that. Got some drums. This entire piece is just a techno groove. You have some controls here. The idea here is if the macro is all the way down, it actually turns that thing off, like kick. Sidechain control over here. And then if you turn the macro, it like changes something about that, like the pitch on the perks, for example. Either no perks. Fun. Vengeance drum loops instead of Serum. This was an attempt at a random clap. It uses 4 different white noise things. And you can see sort of by these LFO triggers here how it goes like brap, brap. It's a little random every time. You can also adjust the randomness, like the random delay of all of them. If we bring them closer together, gets a little bit nicer. And if you turn on the arpeggiator, it sounds like a crowd applauding. In like super dry. Hey. I thought it was funny. We also got some, this was like some happy accident. Got a dubstep snare maker and a dubstep kick maker. So yeah, someone just asked, oh, just a mask. Hey, VR, how do you make drums? Like this. And like this. Watch the Studio Time Season 2, Episode 2. Oh, this one's also fun. I wanted to play around with putting like a loop into the spectral and have it on slice mode, and then the arpeggiator is playing it for us. So I'm only pressing a C note right now. But if I press like a C and a G, then we get... And since this is in the spectral oscillator, we can mess with the playback speed. I thought that was kind of cool. This pack does not focus on generators, though. There's like a few, but we also have just a lot of bass presets. Stable mono soft rees. A couple of those. Spectral sweeps. I'll upload when I upload this to the Patreon shop. I'll make a little video as well for my channel where it just goes through a couple of patches, like just like with the last 2 packs, it just like previews some of them. Retro Skrill vibes. Some more rhythmy ones. This was just my attempt at recreating the distortion from the song ADHD by Igor. If you know about them, with like a hysteresis type X shaper in the distortion. And a lot of these have tons of controls. Like this one, it sounds like that, but we can change the com pitch, FM pitch, sounded really good. Somewhere over here. FM strength, brightness, low movement, shape. We got a guinea pig being tortured with an optional tractor. If you want that. Tons of different growl approaches. Even with the bit crush crunch. This one's just like a bro steppy one, but the velocity controls LFO speed again. But it's kind of like a bro step setup where you have all the controls down here. This is like a wave picker. It's picking all the possible combinations. Can you make a hardstyle kick? I made one on accident. That's in this pack. Under the drums section. Got a frog. Wah. Small frog. Add a froctave. And the pond echo. Frog can also get drunk. Frog. Got some good Reeses. That don't need a lot of macros, like this one's literally just... That's all you need. Got some stabby boys. This was a failed experiment, but I kept it in with no macros. It just sounds really cool. There's a lot going on in the effects on this one. I liked how it sounded. Oh, this one was an attempt at a growl with two filters, one coming from above, one coming from below. Like the manual band reject by using two separate filters. This one still needs macros for sure. More growl. Then we got a color sweep. Can make it softer. Or get rid of the delay. It can also go up. And do that kind of stuff. This is the high clamp for the spectral. If it's getting too bright. Right, looks like a shooting star. I like that too. When it went like that. Classic growl. Classic FM growl. One of those. With controls. Just to chomp. This one needs macros. Yeah. We got that. Yep, you can make rhythm. This one's just was an accident again. But I thought the sound was crazy. Nice little stab. And then we have beautiful bells. These ones are nice because you have control of the movement of hand movement. Oh, this is still moving even though the movement is down. I guess it's just not turning the LFOs all the way down. I see. It's the speed of the LFOs, not the intensity. Here I hand drew partials. Here the partials are randomly added from a harmonic series. Some of these with like 3 spectral oscillators could be a little intense for the CPU. And then we've got some really cool ARPs, like this one, for example, uses 3 oscillators, and I'm using the voice mod. And this is controlling which oscillator is on for each note. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 by using this remap shape over here. And then the third one's up an octave. This means if you press a 3-note chord, you just get something like this. But if I press 4 notes, you get something like this. If I add in a 5th note, oh wait, you can even count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's some pattern changes you can do over here. It's very hypnotic. And we also have these really nice layers in the background, like if I take the cutoff down. So you can have a lot of fun. Have a lot of fun with that. Oh, this one just rains sine waves at random speeds. Hyperlunian, I have played with the OC mapping for some presets where I don't want people to just play it at high notes because it just sounds bad there. I'd select like 2 lower octaves and have it fold and warp sort of so that it like always stays in that range, which is very nice. And also it's fun to have separated things like you can play a sub with oscillator A and then you can play something high with B and C. Very fun for cooker style basses for those screeches. A lot of cool randomization. This is the same setup as the spiraling one, but instead here we have 2 oscillators. And one of them is an octave up. So now 3-note chords will give you that kind of circling vibe. And chords with even numbers should not. Hehe. And this is the prettiest one. Whee! There's more, but also I need to put some things on things. Oh, this one's actually very nice. Especially Busty, if you are here, you like dreamy stuff, if you want to check this out. So, idea here is, I can actually show this really quick in an init patch. So I want to play chords, but I want them to sound really cool and really dramatic and cinematic. So my idea was, what if we have like, for like a big paddy kind of vibe, what if we have a long attack and a long decay? Something like that, but the attack and decay times are randomized for each note in the chord with like a note on random by like quite a lot. So like the attack should always be half a second, the decay should always be no less than 3 seconds maybe, but then I will let this randomize the attack up to maybe even now 3 seconds is quite a lot, and the decay can get pretty long, up to like 10 or something. So now, if we play big chord, and I gotta increase the polyphony. Ta-da. Let's draw a big chord. Just gotta make it long. Each note here should have a different timing in terms of its length and how long it takes to come in. So that kind of worked. I'm gonna also apply this to the filter cutoff and a random note on for the pan. So you get the idea that maybe an octave up and with some delay and reverb can already sound kind of nice. And then I just went in and did that to a bunch more effects. There's a random chance for a note to be fluttering in volume with a random speed that also changes over time. So now if we play that chord with this pad preset that I made in that style, that's what it sounds like. And it'll sound different every time. I'll play it again. So maybe we can make like a little chord progression. And now I need a G minor. Oh, $10. Is that the first donation today from F. Chopin 9043? I'm super excited for your concert in Chicago. Already signed up. By far, you are my #1 favorite artist. Hopefully there's no snow this time. Oh, you're right. Oh, that would be so nice. If there was no snow. I think we should be fine. I'm super stoked. I love Concord Music Hall. And also, thank you for the $10. That is quite a lot. Okay, I just want to get 4 chords going. And one more. Maybe a higher one in there. Okay, so now we have these 4 chords. I'm going to turn the tempo down to 140. Yeah. And I tried to make a version 2. It is very similar. I was just like, try some other things. I think in version 2, the volume modulation is a little bit better and it doesn't have vibrato. Yeah. How long is the decay allowed to be? Yeah, this is nice. Yeah, that's was it James Raids 3306. So what I'm using here for all this randomization is the note on random under mod source note on random, and that is different for each note you play. So each note in this chord is getting a different, I think, a different wavetable picked, either like a saw or a sine, and a different amount in attack and decay, and a different panning. That's why this sounds different every time you loop it. Oh, also a random detune, or there's a chance for a note to be detuned. And I do have this little distortion parallel chain here. That does sound really nice when it kicks in. Oh, that little friction there. Yeah, this is like a distortion layer. If I turn it off, it's just very clean and nice. And this is kind of adding in some sadness. Almost feels like a guitar fuzz pedal or something. This needs a... Oh, that's very loud. Where's the birds in? There we go. Is it a bit loud? Oh, there's a... I was looking for a specific one. This construction, that's not nice. I was looking for birds and shit. There it is. That's a good one. That's the one from the simulation outro. Now everybody's falling asleep. This would be really nice with some cello, maybe. I know I said we're making presets, but we're just vibing right now. $5 from you are 1_0. I struggle to make growl basses on Serum 2. I'm an FL Studio user, and my dream is to make color bass and dubstep. Any tips or videos that could help? Don't think I've ever made like a dedicated growl video, but the Barely Alive video on growls is pretty good. Someone also recently made a Skrillex growl tutorial that's really good. But check out the videos where I make like a song in like a little loop, a little drop in one video. Those can be really helpful because I might like sound design a growl in those. Let's get an intimate legato cello going with some reverb. Longer. And then, where are you? MIDI effects, CC control, and then the mod wheel here. Ah. Someone said the credits to humanity. Nice. We have vibed. We have successfully vibed. Ooh, there was like a base that needed macro treatment. So maybe let's get into that real quick so that I can also put this on my Patreon shop as soon as possible. This one does need macro treatment. This one also still needs some cleaning up. Like, it's a little too dull. And then maybe this is going to also be in control of the user with a macro. Brightness. Continue playing this for 10 more hours. I'll make that's actually not a bad idea. You know what? I'll make a render. Because it actually changes. Hear me out. I'll make her bounce with like a little bit of that bird atmosphere or something in the background. And with those chords. And the cool thing is that actually keeps changing. So even if I actually bounce a 10-hour thing, it'll never sound the same anywhere. It's not actually looping the same audio clip. So that's actually premium. I like that idea. Thank you. I wonder how long that's going to take to render. Or if Ableton even allows that, if I have to render it in chunks. Who knows? Maybe I can render 15 minutes in 192 kilohertz pitched up and then stretch it to save render time. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, maybe leave it overnight. Okay. So we've got the brightness control. Maybe a length control would be nice. Or the speed. Yeah, definitely a speed control. That should be one of the early, like one of the first macros. Because that's kind of important, I feel like. Speed. Also, the sub is very strong on this patch, isn't it? So maybe might actually attenuate that ever so slightly. Is that also a little messy with the low end? Yeah, why are you... I guess. Any point in... Whoops. Obviously the room control on macro 8 again. That's a standard. And then does this detune control make sense? I guess it does make it darker. So maybe actually, yeah, maybe just like that, where it's like, just call it timbre. And then maybe someone actually would want to adjust the pitch of this. So let's do that. So here's what I do for that. The lowest pitch, like that's a little too low, but this low fifth makes sense. So let's put a macro on here that goes from there to plus 12. And then I want this macro to select specific notes in there, not just going up chromatically. So I go in here into the remap thing, and then we just start doing this. And then for this one, nah, makes sense. Minor makes sense, and a major third, and then a fifth, and then maybe a seventh. And then an octave, and then a second, and maybe a major third is the last, because that's pretty high. Nice. So now this pitch macro only gives you those options. But this is where I would like it to stay when you pull up the patch. How much is this noise doing? What's controlling you? Envelope 2. I guess that could be on a macro. So we're gonna have you do this. And then also who's controlling you? Noise level, envelope 2. Macro 2 is gonna be your aux source. It's not really much happening. Like in the first half of this knob, not much is happening. So I might just have it skip that in sort of this way. And same here. Actually, this one can just like, wee. Nice, that makes a little more sense. I added the pitch macro in case someone wants to like maybe your bass line is like something like, but then you're like, what if I tried this as, or for the second half of the song or the second half of the drop, I wanted to change to, and then you can just do that here. The low end at the end there is quite strong. Maybe, yeah, maybe envelope on the drive. That's better. It's a little cleaner. That's too clean. But now we could have that again. Oh, I should have named you, shouldn't I? Where were you? You were Noise. Oh, also 249 in euros from keine Ahnung, Bro. Wann Nasco Collab Kelle? Gute Idee. Wenn ich Zeit habe. Im Moment ist maximales Kohle generieren angesagt. Weil ich arm bin. Okay, back to English. Val, did you make it out of Rufus last night? Actually didn't go. Carmen went. But I didn't go. Didn't even know that was going on until yesterday. Okay, we got drive. Oh, hi, Lemons. So that is nice, and we have one left. We have the timbre. It's actually sounding pretty good here. What should be the last possible control here? We got the brightness, we got the room, we got the noise, we got the drive. Maybe it doesn't need that macro. Yeah, I think that's fine. Band or notch filter. I feel like maybe I'll allow it to be uneq'd and have the macro, because it's kind of like a notch filter, and have the macros here, I mean the EQ be connected to a macro, and this is like cleanup. If people want that. And then I do like to make it a little more intense when it's on a macro, so you have options. So you might need this, you might not need this, depending on how you process this patch further. It definitely helps a lot when the drive is higher. So it has its validity to be there. What I also really like sometimes to do is if it's a patch like this, where it's a bass patch that's just monophonic, like the mono is on, you can't play multiple notes at once, then what works really nicely is if you have like a little automation or thing like this, like a modulator, to put that on an EQ, so that like you have this brightness boost just at the start. Kind of like a dynamic EQ. That can be cool sometimes. Yeah, that does make it tighter. It's almost like a little bit like a transient shaper for the high frequencies. Yeah, this is as high as I'd allow the brightness to go, and for the preset, leave it about here. The noise could still get more intense towards the end. That's actually kind of cool. If it wasn't that harsh, but we haven't used the filters, so might as well have the noise go through a low pass. That just takes that away a little bit. That's nice. So, and then when the noise actually, when this goes up high, then that filter kicks in. So either you want just a little bit of crunch on the attack. Why are you so intense now, my friend? Did I do something wrong? Were you going somewhere else first? Huh, whatever. I guess you're just going to go through that filter no matter what. I keep doing this since the update. I want to remove all modulators, but I'm used to this being the bottom option, and now I click show in matrix. That works. Maybe this can come down with that macro, just for like additional, just a little more elegant. Okay, good enough. Ah, oh god, I'm so sorry. What did I do? How did I break it? I guess this goes back to normal. And maybe this one too. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. Let's save that. And embed content in preset. Save. The chomp is fine. These do kind of need... They're a little lazy. This could need some macros, maybe. And the double filter growl. The FM Reeses are fine. This is fine. Oh, there's a guinea pig. Yeah, guinea pig's fine. That's just a demo of the Igor distortion. We also have some nice synths, like some really nice playable ones in here, where I multi-sampled my my polybrute and turned those multi-samples into sound fonts and then imported the sound fonts into the multi-sample oscillator in Serum. And it's nice. Oh, also I'm working on this patch where we've got plucky chords. The velocity controls like a pitch attack. If it's going kya or wah. But the idea is that there's a clip on here that is playing that chord. And the point is that you can change to different chords down here. So you could... But I still need to make the other chords. Those are all just copies. These are some polybrute saws. And they're very velocity reactive. Like the higher the velocity, there is an additional like saw here to just like help. But I multi-sample like different velocities. So it's actually analog warmth, yay. Oh, we've got a really cute one. Hehe. The timbre shift. Makes it really dark. Rain. I forgot I added rain. It's the Geiger noise going through this bandpass filter that's just having the time of his life. Yay, someone recognized the Undertale. Yeah, I thought the rain was kind of a fun attempt there. This is a super sampled saw, a sampled super saw. So these are super saws from other synths, from Dune, from Hive, from The Legend. And the point here is that if you repeat the same chord, it sounds like you've stuttered it or you've looped it. Like that. Which I really like. And then we've got some voicey ones. This one just accidentally sounded like Sunny. But it's not. And then, of course, we needed like a... There's lots of fun stuff in there. And I need to go to the bathroom real quick. Might as well grab some water on the way. Entertain yourselves. At ease, everybody. I shall be right back. Hello. Not with water, but with Spindrift. Oh, let me get the chat back up so I can see what y'all yapping about. Oh, nice. The waiting room music worked. That's good. I wasn't sure if that was going to work. Yay. I don't even know what the wait music is. I said that a while ago. Yoy. Okay, some of these still did need macros. It's like the double filter growl, and the classic, these ones. Maybe let's start with the double filter growl, because that one is kind of interesting, and I don't know if these wavetables are the perfect choices. But there should be a macro that brings the filters closer together. So like... maybe that's the maximum allowed there, while at the same time... should those be two separate macros? I wonder, is there a point in having this one up here? Yeah, you do have more control over it that way. You have like more control over the formant that way. I'm just gonna call them low and high. Yay. This one should be able to go all the way up there. And then come down further. Oh, hi! My girlfriend's in the chat. Yay. Should you be allowed to go higher? Yeah, maybe up to there. Okay, but what I wanted to do was, who goes through filter 1? You. Why are you still... Is that filter just so close that even if the level is up, it doesn't... Oh, fine. Next would be some... You can keep coming down more. Yeah. I do kind of want a resonance control. Let's see what that does. If this controls the resonance on both of them. Yeah, there should be a thing. I like that. And maybe we make this one premium, where the actual filter resonance only goes up at this point, but filter 2 resonance, filter 1, where's filter 1 resonance? Here, good. That's controlled by LFO2. That here and here. That comes in first with that macro. Nice. Okay, so resonance. So if this is on 0, nothing's happening. The resonance on the filters is down. If this is at 50, the resonance should be reacting to LFO1. And then if it goes higher, it's just going to move the knobs up. That works. Oh, timbre. That should probably be like the controlling the asymmetric and the bend. That's nice and scrongly. The asymmetric here doesn't do much in terms, like it doesn't make it better moving that with a macro. So maybe adding a second warp mode for more scrongle. Maybe another asymmetric. Nope. Nah, none of these are helping. Bend minus was, bend plus was the most useful, I think. Still, this does need those low harmonics because it's going through the low filter. So we're just gonna call you a timbre. And what are you, a support saw? Are you even doing anything? I guess it has stereo width. That is nice. So we should have a like width control. So I'm gonna just width, give you that. The noise as well. The stereo width of the noise. And noise, are you doing anything? I can barely hear you too. Who's controlling you? Think about that. Who is controlling you? Noise level, sub oscillator, all the way. And then alpha 1 is controlling the IC. There we go. Maybe that shouldn't go through any filter. So, little move here. You don't go anywhere. You go none. You go bus 1. Now you are separated from everything else. And then in bus 1, we can have a utility that controls your gain. Like so. Beep. And now that's called noise. And then the width control first brings up the noise width. I think that's important. 7 brings up C level, the C level, and first noise width. Then C level here. There we go. Nice. We're getting better. Sorry, I'm not looking at the chat as much as I maybe should. How's everyone else doing? Val, you have a term for literally everything. I don't know, sometimes if I don't know it, I just make something up. This could be a little more drivey. This could be a little more crunchy. Maybe we make a drive control. Definitely, but also this needs cleanup. First, let's put these in place. That's going to make it a lot louder, so we're going to have to counteract that. Like, that explodes in loudness. So what I want to do is I'm just going to arbitrarily, I'm going to pick this one before the second distortion and say, you also move down. Sorry. Nice, now it's not getting extremely loud. There still is muddiness, which I don't like. So, and I feel like I want to remove that before all the distortions, so that the mud doesn't get into the distortion. Yeah. It's like this stuff here. A bit better. And maybe a little bit of, a little more presence. That noise is quite loud. That is why I had this thing on here. Where were you? LFO1 noise level. There. That's tighter. You can literally have it be something like this. Yeah, that's a little tighter. Okay. Did I see a phaser over here? There is a phaser. Are you needed? I guess a little bit. Yeah, fine, you can stay. And last but not least, the room control. Room. Can still add one more EQ. Tiny bit brighter. Okay. Volume is good like that compared to all the other presets. Save view again. Now you have macros. Whop. Oh, hi, Sharks. Ha. That's the sound that should play when Sharks joins. I don't know if these FM girls have are allowed to be in there. These were like experiments. They're fine. They were just like, I was just like trying out some stuff. If only you could macro the matrix curves. Oh, I see what you mean. Trying to think if there's a way you could fake that. I guess you could use an LFO you're not using, like a matrix curve, as like the aux source, and you modulate the phase with whatever is supposed to be doing the thing. Actually, now I need to figure out if you can. Okay. Okay, let me actually try. Let's say this LFO is modulating. We're just gonna make a stupid patch. Like that. Okay, and I have, let me think. I'm just gonna put the second LFO on here. But kind of what we want to do is we want to change this, right? Let me think. Yeah. Yeah, if I wanted to change that, I think what I'd have to do is put a macro here. Then that macro is controlled by this LFO. And then lastly, the phase here. No, not this phase. I'm dumb. LFO 3. It's going to control that. You are not moving. Wish there was a way to make an LFO static. Is there a way? Nah, not really. But now this is your remap curve. This would now be your remap curve, right? I think? Not really, right? Ah. Not really. I tried. Yes, I've tried Quantum Shift. Really fun. Good plugin. Yes, you made me sidetrack. No, 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 no. I did want to try something else. I was just thinking. Isn't a macro a static LFO? They have remap curves. That is true, but the point is I want to basically, like, once you use the macro and this remap curve, this is what we want to modulate. Or see if we could. So my idea was, what if instead, like if I were to put an LFO here and the LFO was static, I'm just going to pretend this is static at like the lowest BPM. I'm going to pretend that is static. Then having a macro linked to this phase, now it's the exact same thing. The macro's working. It's like as if the macro was here. It's just running. It's just being like, it's like doing an extra step for no reason. So that we can hear this, let's put the destination is going to be global main tuning. And here we're just going to have LFO2 doing its thing. What? Oh, it's because of this point at the end here. Whatever. But that works. So now and now this is kind of the remap curve, right? In a way. But we can modulate this. So that was kind of my idea. This is so unnecessary. This is an absolutely unnecessary side gig right now. Everyone go smash the like button if you haven't already. Basti, you are so right. Absolutely. Oh, hi, oversampled. I just kind of had that one stuck in my head. I don't know why. But I wanted to see, because so obviously we have phasers here, which are kind of nice for making growls, to like have the growly formant coming from the phaser, which is nice also because they're like static. They stay on the same frequency for that kind of stuff. But there aren't that many options, and they're like fixed to this setting, and they're the width of these peaks and notches. We can draw our own with this PZ state variable filter, where we could make our own by doing this kind of stuff. Hey, sir. Why are you not? Oh, because I'm on 3. So we could use these peaks to make our own phaser with our favorite frequencies to get like different growl vibes. We can also, this is by default. Oh no, so you're also a bell. Okay, perfect. So that's kind of neat. And we could put that wherever we want it. But it is quite sharp with the peaks. Maybe just notches is the move. So that is kind of nice. But then, actually, just let me play around with this for a second. What's also cool is you can morph between different shapes here. Ah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, also it's dangerous. But I wanted to know if we had a thingy in here, a disperser with a couple of stages They're like a certain distance apart, but at the same time, we ran the signal. So I want to run this through to bus 1 and nowhere else, but this to bus 2 and nowhere else. Oh, no, you have to go to the filter, of course. That's kind of like a phaser. And the amount of stages are notches. In a way. I just wanted to see if that works. And we also get some kind of vocally phaser sound. Maybe there's some sweet spots that sound really good with that. And I did want to test what would happen if we invert the phase on one of these. Ah! I'm clicking the wrong thing. Let me get the inverse of that phaser, I guess. And then it's obviously a very big phaser. But it does sound like a phaser. Bleh. I do kind of want to try that, if we can make a growl with that. So the only thing that I need for that, let me just think, because we need at some point to split it into these 2 bits. So maybe this diffuser happens later. Let's copy you over to filter 2. Copy the mods, or not. Oh no, I hit the wrong, I should have hit paste. Yep. And this one's gonna be, first of all, you go to filter 2, you're not doing this. You are going to bus 1 and not to main. You are going to bus 2. You are not going to bus 1 anymore. Nice, we got the same effect. And then this is gonna be for our growl purposes, like a high pass, that kind of thing. And now let's build a thing. Oh, we're still at what, 20 BPM. Let's go to 150 and make a little whoa. Maybe with a notch. I kind of like the notch ones a little more recently. They feel a little cleaner. And for now, we're gonna bypass you. And let's find some nice wavetables for this kind of business. What if we made you... No, not quantize. Remap. What if we really bend you? And also added in a saw. That needs to go through filter B. Sounds kind of nice. Maybe a little bit of... No. I do like that. Am I messing something up by having these in parallel? No. Not yet. Oh. Sheesh. Let's have a sub that... Yeah, are you allowed to go just to the main instead of direct out? Yeah. Now we bring that in. Ah, that's nice. Your set at Base Canyon changed my life. Diz TNT, thank you. That means a lot. I wish Riot teaches us how to make spectral wavetables comparable to NASCOs. I can show you some. I had ChatGPT make me wavetables. You can coax it into making you wavetables. It's quite fun. It can actually make useful stuff. Okay, we got that going now. We've got our disperser phaser. And we can flip the phase here to make it sound a little different if we wanted to. Let's do a compress, distort, compress. And maybe a little bit of hyper, just for a little bit of stereo-ness. It is definitely not perfect. But I like where this is going. So I guess if I wanted to mix it in, because I do want control over the strength of the phaser. The phaser part that gets mixed in goes to bus 1, so I would want to control the volume of bus 1. So maybe we put a utility here. And that, yeah, let's do that. So this is going to be phaser strength. We can just call that phaser. And you're only allowed to go up to 50%, so it matches the volume of the other one. And then this is the phaser control. The frequency. You kind of want to, I don't know if you'd want to control both, or is there like a sweet spot where it can stay? This is kind of a nice sweet spot. Maybe from here to... From here to here? That's good. That's a good ring to it. I wish we could have done the... Is that possible in Serum? Oh, it's going to be difficult. I wish we could have done the whole bandpass 3 OTT thing before this, but this does need parallel processing. I guess if it's mono, you up to that point, you could do a mid-side split. You know, maybe if you put it on... Thinking. But that's not bad. Oh, the invert. Phaser invert. Phaser frequencies. So you can play with that too. That's not the worst. What if we still did that here? The bandpass 3 OTG thing, actually. Might be a little overkill, but let's just try it. Yep. 1, 2. 2 might be enough. Yeah, these can stay on. Does the sub need to go direct out? Might be better. Then also we can EQ you after and do a little bit of this. You are very bitey in the highs. Kind of here. But that's also the phaser's fault. Phaser is quite intense. Maybe not, maybe just 75%. Just testing what it sounds like at different pitches. You can start lower. Better. That's quite low and evil. Oh god, I've mentioned making wavetables with ChatGPT, and now a conversation has ensued. A conversation has ensued. I kind of like the texture of that. Oh, I'm missing distortion after the bandpass. And 10 Euros from D. Schamberger. Servus, woran liegt es, dass die CPU enabled bei vielen Samples mit 3 Oszillatoren vollkommen hochschießt? Und woran liegt es, dass ich manche Serum Presets nicht als Standard-Pack hinterlegen kann? So, I have to answer this in German real quick. Die zweite Frage, das weiß ich nicht. Standard-Pack? Meinst du also als Preset-Pack exporten? Und das mit den 3 OSCs, das hängt davon ab, was die sind. Wenn das granulare sind oder wenn die viele Stimmen, wenn viele Unison-Stimmen haben oder wenn die spektral sind, dann kann das sehr schnell sehr hoch schießen. Okay, back to English. Someone said, "What happened to you, man?" Oh yeah, we were missing distortion after the bandpass filter for the real deal. There's a bit much movement going on. I think it's so it might be the remap. This is nice, but it is missing some trashy distortion. I feel like at some stage, maybe, just maybe, I will try to do a post bandpass, distort the nonsense out of you. Maybe that can get mixed in just ever so slightly. Ah, not what I meant. Yeah, maybe. The growl isn't winning me over yet. That's a little bit better. It does need that rumbly, messy low end a little bit. Maybe a little bit of brightness with an EQ as well. Yeah, not the worst, not the best. I think it's definitely very dependent on that wavetable. And there might be other good waveforms in here. I've made a bunch of new wavetables. I'll include those as well with the presets pack. There's like all these detuned, dispersed saws as wavetables. That's better. Maybe we can find him a friend over here. Oh, we're distorting too much. First it wasn't enough, now it's too much. It's never right. Ah. A little bit of bubbliness. Oh, we haven't added noise yet. I wish we had another bus so I could route that separately. But not bad. Let's put the sub to control the level of the noise. So it does this fluttery and then LFO1 can control, be the aux source. So it's doing that. It's not very audible, I know, because of the bandpass. That's very bright. Maybe 3 OTTs was too much. No, that's fine. $2 from Sovereign Sounds. Oh, thank you. Greetings. What is your favorite German word? It's a good question. Maybe Runkelrüben, Apparate, Fabrikdirektors, Botenmeisters, Aktentaschen, Diebstahls, Kommissionsbeamten, Anzüge, Meisterschneiderei. It's a good word. Spooky Ghost Boy with $5. You should totally try to remix Yodel Techno by Zaftig Takeoishi. Zaftig and Takeoishi. Yodel Techno. I will look up Yodel Techno. You can make long words in German. You can make words as long as you want almost by making compound words. Like Staubsauger, Dustsucker, Staubsaugerhalterung, Dustsucker, like holder. Staubsaugerhalterungsreparateur, Dustsucker holder repair guy. Staubsaugerhalterungsreparateur Ausbildung. Dustsucker holder repair guys like training. So you can just, and that you can make that one word if you want. Why do utility polarity invert left right? There is no sense. No, there is sense because the sound is going from filter 1 into bus 1 or into bus 2 and from filter 2 into bus 1, but filter 2 has this disperser. And then both of them go here through this and through nothing in parallel. But if I invert this by turning it on, which is connected to this macro here, the phaser gets inverted that the disperser creates. I think a little bit of modulation on this is necessary. Yeah. That actually sounds pretty good. Like if it goes. Yeah, that's way better. Aha! Yeah, now we're talking. Oh, this stylistic device is called neologism. Neologism. Can't wait for you to see you at Lost Lands. Yes! This is the longest Finnish word. Oh, I'm not gonna say that. Airplane jet turbine engine auxiliary mechanic non-commissioned officer student. Oh yeah, it's like a similar thing. You're doing a compound word. I like that a lot. Compound words are hilarious. Let's give you a little bit of that, and then that's going to be the room control. Room. Also, I'm going to give you brightness control. There should be a noise control. Oh, that's going to be difficult because I've used up all the buses. No. This one's really overpowering, this one. But, oh wait. What if this one was stereo? So there we go. So we have that as a stereo layer. That's going to be another macro. It is making it a little more washed out, but maybe the Bend Plus can help. I did it again. The show matrix. No, remove all modulators. That's better. So LFO1 has been connected to A level way earlier. So A level, can I remove this? Oh no, something else is going to go there. So that is going to be connected to macro 6, which is going to be called stereo. And again, that only comes up in the second half of the macro, while the first half of the macro brings the noise up to stereo. Now that's here, and then that looks like that. So very nice. And it can start maybe at 60. If you could only afford one, would you go for Faceplant or Serum? Don't ask me such difficult questions. Would you do a tour of Germany next year? I wish I got more bookings in Germany, but the Bootshaus is kind of like the only place. Pitchbend feels like such a cheat code. Okay, we got that, we got that. We got 2 macros left. I think we need more phaser control because it's just there is a variety of moments where it could sit really well. Phaser, cut off. Phaser, this is the width now. Phaser, freck. Try to keep it as short as possible. Oh, $5 from Spooky Ghost Boy. I know this is a bit off topic from the stream, but what would be the best way in Bismuth to use an FM growl for a color-based tune? Let's maybe look into that in a second. Oh, modulate the volume of oscillator A, like AM, or actually doing this? Like moving that over there. I mean, oscillator A is pretty quiet. Oh, to reduce the chance of it sounding muddy if the stereo is up. What if we AM'd you from sub? I guess. I'm just testing. That one's way too. Yeah, that isn't doing much. What if the aim comes from C? It is making it crunchier a little bit. Yeah, I can hear it. Helping a tiny bit, thank you. All right, this is very important. Last one. Oh, so maybe the speed or something, or the modulation here, because this is quite a important part. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Filter to resonance, LFO 2. Yeah. Phaser mod. So it stays static either, or it goes right. Oh yeah, just take oscillator and modulate the level of oscillator A. Yeah, but then the problem is I want to be able to control that level with a macro. But if I put you here and then you here, the level is also being controlled by LFO1 for open and close. I need that too. I can't have 3 unless I do it through, like, unless I hop with a macro. Macro hopping. There's a little bit of, yeah, that can go. I'm happy with this. Macros 1, 2, 4 really change the growl performance as a little note. And then this is bass. Oh, this should go into the folder for the presets for y'all. Bass, this is the disperser phaser. I'm surprised how well that worked. That's actually really nice. Maybe actually velocity could also control the speed a little bit. Between 1, 2, 4, and 8, maybe? So you're on 21. This thing has to follow. Up to 21%. Ah. Nice. So you can control the speed with velocity. But it's also important to me that when people first open it, they hear that. So I'm gonna change this curve. Neat. Oh yeah, a little bit of room can be there. About that much. Save again. Overwrite. Because this version is better. How many presets do we have so far actually in there? Because I think I'm not going to add any more. It's gotten pretty big. 119. Yeah, maybe one more 120 sounds nice. When's the Fortnite collab? If someone wants to hit him up, make it happen. Oh, I also figured out you can do a redistributed flanger with a boat if you shift up by, I don't know, 2000 hertz and then shift back down by 2000 hertz. So we got a saw wave here. Before this flanger is just flanging. Actually, let's do this on a square because it sounds cooler. It's just doing that, but if we shift it up first and then do that and then shift it down, it does that kind of thing. Without and then with. I know there's a lot of sub, but I thought it was a cool effect. Suddenly the flanger becomes vowely sounding. Yeah. Rainy phase, what did you ask? Something without... the only request I have for Mr. Duda is to have the ability to have a single channel mono phaser without having to use a utility. Oh, I see. Can you make Bavarian classic music with Serum? I guess since there's multi-sample support, you can make any genre. Just gonna find some good multi-samples. I actually did download some sound fonts, but I don't know if they work in here. But the other day, I just went on the internet and just looked for tons of different sound fonts, like free sound fonts that you can find anywhere. And as for Zando, this guy, there's a free plugin that can play them. And you will find like a bunch. You'll find like Earthbound sound fonts, chiptune sound fonts, Mega Drive, Megalovania. Heck, what do we have in here? you can find... Sometimes like the trashy quality is kind of nice, but sometimes that's really nice. Ooh. Some of these are really loud. Nice. Someone just put that in for fun. There are sometimes really pretty ones. Or like a Cork M1, just like the entire M1 thing. And there's sometimes really pretty stuff in here. And I have gone through this as well, like some of the Earthbound sound fonts or Mother 3, and I'd suddenly find like a guitar pluck or something, and I'm like, ah, that's from that Porter Robinson song or something. It's like really simple. Ooh. So that's a pretty one. I want to get to the guitars real quick. One of these, I forgot which one it is the like one of these is in, was it in a Sad Machine? Any funny newsies you can show us? Maybe in a bit. Yeah. Some of these are really pretty. Obviously, there's no effects. You have very, very little control over this. I think there might be some attack decay. Oh, vibrato. I guess that's sustain pedal. Yeah, you have very little control over this, but we can always process this with some delay and reverb, and then it's immediately nicer. Hehe. And then you'll also find some creepy stuff or weird stuff if you go into, like, obviously these are all playable things, like the mother sound font. There's also, but then eventually there's like, after the first regular instruments, you start to find like little stabs. Or strange things. Water effects. Oh, well, I went the wrong way. Interesting sound effects. Stuff like that. And then sometimes it's also completely separate, like here, just the mother F sound effects. Got animal noises, UFO. Like all the different sound effects from the game. And sometimes there's some strange things in there, which I really like going through. You find some weird results. This is power guitar. Yeah, these are all playable. And sometimes you find really good pianos. That one's actually just like, I think, just 2 samples, but sometimes you get lucky and you find something like a Yamaha piano with, not this one. Sometimes you find like just one sound font that's literally just this one patch, but it sounds really nice and it's like way cheaper than buying an expensive contact library at times. Doesn't work always, but yeah, Nintendo sound fonts. That's nice too. All right, before we wrap it up for today, one more time, the redistributed flanger. I guess the goal for if you do that is to like find the spot where it goes wow. It does create a lot of low end. Need a high cut, a low cut. I mean, a high pass. Find like a spot where it does wow. That's kind of nice. And then combine that with a sub. Sub's also going through this now, I just realized. So maybe we move all of this over to bus 1. And then have you go. Are you going through? You're going through filter 1? Well, filter 1 is not going anywhere except bus 1. I broke it. How is this possible? How you're all still, what? Ah. No, you're supposed to go down. Oh, I have them in the wrong order? Yeah. Holy cow. Okay, first of all, 5 Euros from die Schamberger. Danke, es ging Pack-Import. Und könntest du bitte mal einen Fragestream, Video oder Reel machen, wo wir die Fragen stellen können? Oh yeah, I do like Q&A type things every once in a while. Either we can do a completely Q&A related stream soon, definitely. Very good idea. Super down. Sometimes I do Q&A stuff on Reddit as well, where I answer questions on there in like the dubstep or EDM or Monster Cat subreddit. And then Karsten with 50 British pounds? What the hell? Hey VR, I've been working on a plugin since your sidechain video last year with ring mod and dual band volume shaping. Just wanted to reach out. Oh, release it on itch.io. Autochain. I'd love to send you after the stream. Yes, I think I saw a message from you on Instagram. I think I saw a DM. Can you DM me there one more time so it's at the top? Because I remember a text that was exactly about that. I think that must have been you. So that would be cool. I'd love to check that out. Though I do like the, like, if you just want ring mod sidechain in a compact version, then the compactor from Kilohertz kind of does that for you in a nice way. Almost. Ah. Yeah, I like that more. Oh, and the filter also should have been at the end. Nice. A working redistributed flanger bass. That's kind of fun. Ah! What if the flanger had a little bit of... All right, that doesn't work because of the bode being mono. Because I was like... Yeah, and we can make the bode stereo. Unless we do the whole thing. But this is fun. I'm just going to save this real quick for myself. BS redist flanger wob. Maybe I'll play around with this later. Like, instead of that being an up-down movement, it could probably be cool if this was a... Yo, yo. Pew, 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 pew. That's actually kind of neat. That does require a little bit of stereo width now and delay of some sort. Maybe just something like... And definitely needs EQing. Sorry, I will show a thing in a second. It's got... Just need this to sound good. First. Piodo, piodo. And now a little bit of brightness boost. That's a little bit better. Piomo, piomo. What if that was followed up by another flanger? Sorry, I just need all these things I need to try. And then that one can be stereo. You. Negative comb, maybe. All about finding the sweet spots. That kind of works. It's kind of modal nodes-ish. And then the strength of this here. Controls the craziness. Pitch envelope for sure. I'm just gonna do this over here. Mod strength. I'm gonna change these all later. I do like the piano. And then maybe that same, I'm just gonna do LFO2 on main tuning. Because I'm lazy. Meow. Meow. The flanger is so overpowering that you almost can't hear it happening. But like going down. They should probably be key tracking, but I don't know if key tracking works here anymore since the frequency shifting thing happened. But I do like that. I wonder if, just last thing. Last thing, I promise, if we had one more distortion, but it's a custom made one, using the X-Shaper, not in asymmetric, but in regular mode. And then we edit B. So we kind of more like that. I'm just trying something. More. Okay, now the input isn't loud enough. This will make sense. So we got it brittly and very loud. But we could then maybe post high pass. So it's just this crunch it's adding. Maybe that gets mixed in with the original sound. It's a little subtle. It was just an idea. Just wanted to try that out and see what would happen. Hey, Stashu. It does a little bit. Okay, saving this for now, and then last thing before I lock in again with doing all those other macros is why didn't I show you this? This is actually the most organized project file I've ever made. Everything's like really nice. That's right, you know Yuffie and Arcuni? I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I know Yuffie. And Riot 3. Okay, come on. This takes a little bit. There we go. Driving a semi-truck and watching this is that bad. Dude, I wish I had a handle. Says that. Look at this organization and this color coding. Whee! Yeah. And everything is actually in its right place. And what this sounds like, let me just make sure this is not going to blow out your ears because the mastering is on. So I'm just going to put a newfangled saturate at the end. And then bring the output volume down a bit. I think that should be fine. What we've got going on here is... Yab yar. Actually, having it clean up like this, nice and tidy, is pretty fun because you can check out, for example, what's happening. I turn it up, it can be a tiny bit louder. I think I agree. Maybe by 4. There's like electro house, complextro. Like, what would it sound like without the basses? What's all the stuff happening in the background? So there is, for example, a super saw synth that goes along with the to like help that out a little bit. And then there's also this whole nonsense, this could have even been more, but in the samples area, these tiny little funky guitar bits that are all like chopped up in different ways. And then some bonus background loops. But it's all like pretty quiet and just to like fill up the background and add a little bit of that funk. It doesn't have that old, like, intense mix down yet. Maybe just like an OTT on the master could fix that. That's actually a more chill OTT compared to this. Too much. Yeah. No, those aren't underscores vocals. This something. And then here, our little cooker bass gets a friend. And we also have massive. There is an actual massive screen filter sound with a little layer. And I'm really happy with how these growls turn out for the fills here. Like. And these ones, are these? Now, ow, boom, boom. One of my new favorite things for like emotional melodic parts like this, where you have big chords or something, is adding a little, like a held saw that's playing like a note pretty high up in the background. It just adds, like, it is pretty quiet, but it just adds additional like euphoria, sort of. I'm gonna make it louder. Maybe I might try and keep all of this very organized for the next release. Maybe I could also then put out the project files together with the EP. That would be cool. And like freeze anything that has third-party plugins on it, but there's just a lot of Ableton stock. And for people who don't have Ableton, you can just get the stems. Since stem exporting will then also be pretty easy and quick to do, since it's all like grouped nicely already. All right, that is it for today, because I got to get back to proper work and finish up that preset pack, and make an artwork for it as well. And then maybe I can get it on the Patreon shop by today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Thank you all so much. Also, thanks again for Karsten for the 50 pounds. Sheesh. What's it sound like at 103 BPM? Okay, real quick. Wait, why can't you hear it? Oh, that's why. Wait, are you mute? Am I muted? Wait, something, did something break? No. Ah. Yeah, it's kind of a vibe. Also, on that topic, by the way, just a quick tip for if you're making sounds in Serum and stuff, if you've used like a lot of LFOs and they're all synced to your host tempo, and then you're like, oh, I wish I had this sound at twice the speed or half the speed, just resample it, but change your DAW tempo instead of messing with all the LFOs together. That's sometimes nice. So you have like a long version and a short version and a medium long version of the same stab or something. Just a quick little tip at the end. All right. Everybody, have a good rest of your day. Played at 170. No, we're good for today. Stay safe out there. It's dangerous. And I see you again soon. Bye-bye. I almost kissed the mic. It's like, bye-bye.